Clubs up for sale like Manchester United, Tottenham and Liverpool have a lot to learn from Manchester City currently as they've been hit with a financial crisis. Of course, they've been confirmed to have breached several financial rules, and this, of course, forms the crux of today's discussion in this episode. This is the Nutmeg. My name is Ayomide Sotubo. Okay, so now joining me is Adeyemi Adesanya to check out this important story concerning Man City and, of course, how it affects teams that are up for sale. Talking about teams like Man United, teams like Tottenham Hotspur, teams like Liverpool. But now let me come to you now. What have you made of the situation at City at this point in time?
Okay, so thank you for having me. Manchester City have been hit with I think 115 counts of breaches of financial fair play by the Premier League. So what I've made of it is that it means that the authorities are still looking very closely at the finances of the clubs and wanting to ensure that all the clubs are still within the straight and narrow, that they are as much as possible living within their means, as much as possible doing the right things. Spending is in the right proportion, investment is in the right proportion, and just trying to ensure that there's what we call, to avoid what we call financial doping.
Okay, but then the crux of our discussion now is that teams like United, Tottenham, and Liverpool, they are up for sale. We know that. And particularly Man United, in the recent days, we heard of a potential bid from Qatar coming in to take over the club from the Glazers. And what gets to me is, how does Man United navigate their own takeover such that it doesn't go the same lane that it has for City now? How can they avoid that situation?
Okay, so first of all, we need to understand, and let me make it first and foremost clear that I'm a Manchester United fan, so that in case anybody wants to say that what I'm saying is a bit biased. So what you need to understand is that as commercial entities, Manchester United and Manchester City are not the same. We potentially ascribe Manchester United to the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona, maybe Bayern Munich. But then, Manchester City over the last few years have supposedly bridged the gap, which is part of why they are being looked at. Now, for United to navigate this, United have been in a takeover situation before. Now, the difference here is Manchester United's takeover, the previous one under the Glazers, was a leveraged takeover, which is the owners took a loan to buy the club, right?
Yeah.
Now, this one is more like an enterprise or an entity looking to invest its cash. So what it means is two things. They are, one, potentially investing their money, but two, it is coming from a state. So what it means is it's like Nigeria through an investment portfolio going to buy Manchester United. The difference in this case is that Manchester United are already a well-run commercial entity. So what the Qataris are going, or whoever eventually buys into the club, are buying is a well-oiled commercial machine. So what will happen, the difference will be that United already have a lot of commercial agreements in place. What will then probably change is the type of way the inflow, the money will come into the club. Now, the issue with Manchester City had to do with some of the agreements they had in terms of sponsorship, the commercial agreements they had, and also the kind of payments they were making. So the accusations that they were making multiple payments to certain staff and players. That's not happening at Manchester United. So for the Qataris investing, it's a direct injection of funds, one, to the owners, and two, potentially to the club, right? Because after they purchase the club, they have to inject some form of capital. In fact, they probably don't need to really inject some form of capital into the club, because the club already, more often than not, has been spending its own cash, the cash that it has generated. So somewhat that's the difference.
Okay, just to leave you with this particular question now, how ideal is it, all right, because in question, these Qatari people coming to invest in Man United, so to speak, they are saying they want to back Eric Ten Hag and give him the backing he deserves. Quite all right. But then there's this conflict between how they navigate their ownership of Paris Saint-Germain at the moment and Manchester United potentially. We are, of course, aware that the QSI, the Qatar Sports Investment, own Manchester City. But then the same owner is the person we're talking about. But then it just seems like at this point in time, the family of this potential owner from Qatar is going to claim ownership and not the Qatar Sports Investment. Well, how ideal is it, considering the fact that Manchester United and PSG cannot be owned by the same person in the UEFA Champions League? They can't compete in that manner. How ideal is it for Manchester United?
Experience has shown over time that when a lot of money is on the table, the authorities always find a way around it. You know, this is potentially £5 billion that will be probably routed through a club, right?
Yeah.
Even though it probably go to the owners, that's a lot of money. And what that means eventually is that money is still going to come within the British economy. That's on one side. Secondly, we can make reference to the Red Bull Salzburg and RB Leipzig issue, where both of them qualified for the Champions League at about the same time. They were able to find a way around it. So one of the ways is to clearly distinguish who is investing in Manchester United and who already owns PSG, right?
Yeah.
Once they can make that distinction, there will be no conflict.
Okay. Yeah,
so
sure.
Once that is done, there will be no conflict.
Okay.
And yeah, so I don't foresee any issues because, like I said, once there's a lot of money on the table, the authorities always seem to find a way around it.
All right, we have to leave it at that now. Thank you very much for your expert opinion, sports analyst Adeyemi Adesanya. That's the much we can take on today's episode, and you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Also hit the subscribe button if you're not already part of the Nutmeg community, and you can also get our latest videos when you, of course, hit the notification bell. This is the Nutmeg on Guardian TV. My name is Ayomide Sotubo.